Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today we have lots of updates, and so I'm just going to share an awful lot with you. And so first of all, I would like to welcome all of our Let's Go family members here, and also a big welcome to all of you who are new. We have quite a few new members of our Let's Go family, and we want you to know that we're excited to have you with us, and we have an amazing community here, and so thank you for coming. I also wanted to invite anyone who is here that hasn't subscribed yet to please go ahead and subscribe. It not only helps us out, but it will help you out too, because I don't want you to miss any of the important updates that you need to know. If you're someone that enjoys hearing about cruising, or you've got a cruise booked, or you're trying to decide if you should cruise, I do my best to keep you up to date as well as share all of our experiences with you. If you're new around here, we indeed are taking a cruise this coming up Sunday. We are going to sail on the Caribbean Princess out of Fort Lauderdale to the Western Caribbean, and so we are really excited. So first of all, here's everything we have. On the Princess website, there is a COVID health protocol update dated today, January 12th. And I looked through everything. Every time I print the whole thing out so that I don't miss any updates. And honestly, the only difference I see is the tightening up of a little bit of language here and there, but none of their protocols have changed. You still have to, the main ones that, if those of you who are new here, you need to be vaccinated. They are not requiring a booster yet, but they are recommending a booster for anyone who wants to sail within 7 days of sailing. They also have the requirement that you need to show proof of a negative COVID test done within 2 days of embarkation. And as their protocols point out, if you're sailing on a Sunday, you can have that test done on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And so that is a requirement. And then also you do need to wear a mask when you're on board. You need to wear it indoors, and you need to wear it outdoors when you cannot socially distance. And so keep that in mind. The only allowances are for when you're eating or drinking, and from what I'm hearing, they really are asking people to, you don't go walking around the ship, as I've said before, with a drink in your hand and not wear your mask. You need to wear your mask. If you're sitting in a lounge and you're slowly drinking a drink, put your mask up in between. And so think of things like that so that we can keep everyone safe. And I also wanted to point out that they do have the wording in their protocol asking people to please wear, it says, a higher grade mask while indoors, such as a surgical or KN95. Masks should have 2 or more layers, completely cover the nose and mouth, fit snugly against the sides of the face, and have a nose wire. Please note that visors and face shields will not be accepted as a substitute for a face mask. And so just keep that in mind. Alrighty, the next thing and in connection with that, this week, I don't know if this has happened other weeks as well, but I did receive an email from someone saying that this week, when they got to their room to check in on the Caribbean Princess, sorry, they didn't check in their room, they'd already checked in. When they got to their room, on the desk were 2 of the KN95 masks with a note stating a section of that protocol there, as well as the go down to guest services or ask your room steward if you need some more. And like I've said on the stateroom TV, you can go ahead and order more masks as well. And so I think that the cruise lines are trying to do all they can to keep everyone safe. So that's that update from the Caribbean Princess. I would love to hear from any of you sailing on other cruise lines. Other Princess cruise ships. You can surely share with us if you're sailing on another cruise line as well. But I would love to hear if we're doing that. Earlier this week, we had the update from Dave that on the Enchanted Princess that he is on right now, they did pass out the KN95 masks as well. And so just wanted to bring you up to date on that. The next really big update that we have got is coming out of Hawaii. Today is January 12th, it's Thursday morning, and yesterday on Wednesday, Hawaii announced that from now on, Travelers coming to Hawaii, whether you're coming on an airplane or on a cruise ship, have got to have the booster if they don't want to quarantine. And so those of you who have got a cruise booked to Hawaii and you were waffling over the counsel that Princess had given to get a booster, you need to go ahead and get a booster, or else you're not going to be able to get off the ship. That's what everything is saying that I can read. And like I said, it said that that's what you have to do to avoid quarantine. And so when it comes to cruise ship rules, that means you can't get off the ship in Hawaii. So I wanted to let everyone know about that. The next thing that I wanted to, and also I saw a news story that everything is going really well with the Grand Princess. She was in Honolulu, and then she was in Kauai, and yesterday on Wednesday she was in Maui, and so it seems like everything is going really well there. I expect to hear some updates when people return from that cruise. I know that when you're on a cruise, the first thing on your mind is not sending me an email or commenting to let us know how it's going, but what we have heard thus far is it sounds like everything is going really well. The next thing that I wanted to let you know about is we are seeing a lot about excursions being canceled. I've had a couple of emails about it, I've had comments about it, and we are just seeing that in updates that excursions are being canceled for different cruises. Sometimes they're being canceled once you're on the cruise. Sometimes it's for an excursion down the road. And I just wanted to tell you a couple of things about that. First of all, if you weren't aware, the way the Princess does their excursions and the other cruise lines is they contract with independent tour operators in the port that they're going to run the excursions. So they pay the people, and of course they earn a little bit on top of that, and I think that's appropriate. They set it all up for us. But anyway, when those changes come, like 9.9 times out of 10, it is because of what has happened with those independent tour operators. Princess doesn't just say, well, I don't think we're going to offer that one on the next one, unless they, of course, get a lot of bad reviews back about it. I think that does affect things like that. But as a general rule, when we are looking and seeing that cruise excursions are being canceled, it's because of what is going on. And when you think of what is going on with Omicron right now, it makes perfect sense that we would have more excursions canceled than normal. Because as Omicron comes and goes in these areas, or comes and stays for a bit, it really does affect the health of the people who provide those tours. It affects their ability to get workers because they've got more people calling in who are sick. And then the requirements for different areas change a little bit about what those areas will allow. And so just keep that in mind. And I think it's just another really big reminder right now to be flexible, because we need to be flexible with everything, and not just with cruising. A lot of things are just happening and changing and the way they are right now due to COVID, and so just kind of keep that in mind. And I am sorry if you have excursions canceled that you have been looking forward to for a really long time. That is really sad. We book these cruises and we have kind of some expectations in our mind about what we're hoping to get to do. And so I am really sorry when the excursions that you've been looking for have been canceled. The other thing, we just, like I said, update after update. Joanne, whose sister is on the Majestic Princess right now, she is saying that Princess is also doing the thing of where they move some crew members who are positive on a ship and move them over to another ship to keep the crew members who have tested positive for COVID. She has heard about that firsthand. And then also an update that from one of our people that I'll share the rest of her update with you. She was just in Fort Lauderdale, and she said that the Holland America New Amsterdam ship is there and will be used as kind of the hospital ship for the crew. And I would use that word hospital like loosely, I think, because indeed they do have the resources right there to be able to take care of people who are really sick with COVID, but it is mainly being used just to put these crew members who have tested positive. And so that's an update. We also, this is really important for all of you sailing out of Fort Lauderdale. We have an amazing Let's Go family member. I think you say her name, Renata. She arrived in Fort Lauderdale yesterday, and she's going to be getting on the Regal Princess tomorrow, Friday. And so they did their COVID test right there at the Fort Lauderdale airport. She said it was super smooth, super quick, and they had their results in 15 minutes. And so if you want to get your COVID test done at the Fort Lauderdale airport, the name of the company that does it is called NOMI Health. It's N-O-M-I-E Health, and it's just nomihealth.com to go to their website, and that's where you can sign up. She said they do take those reservations, so you can go to their website and sign up, or they also take walk-ins, and it costs $59. So I thought that is a great resource for anyone who is sailing out of Fort Lauderdale. That's just, I think, so smooth. That's awesome. So thank you, my dear, for letting us know. I've also had a lot of questions from people who want to know what happens if you are a resident of Canada, a Canadian citizen, and you go on a cruise, and when you disembark, you take a COVID test and you test positive. And so if being from Canada, you would know that if you test positive for COVID, you have to wait 14 days to go back to Canada. That's a Canadian rule. And so I cannot find anywhere what happens to you if you test positive in that disembarkation test. You know, after you get your luggage, you go through everything and you take that test. I cannot find that information. And so as a result, I've kind of thought about what I would do if it were me. And if it were me, I would ask to be tested before I disembark the ship. Because if you disembark and you have already tested positive for COVID, Princess will help you. They will pay for your quarantine hotel. They will help you get to the quarantine hotel. They will make sure that everything is going smoothly for you. They've got what do I want to say? The family person that they assign to you to make sure that things are going well, and they do a really good job of that. And so I would ask to be tested before I disembarked, because like I said, I can't find anywhere that it talks about that. And so if any of you out there have disembarked and tested positive after disembarkation, we would love to hear from you about what happens if Princess still helps you, or if you're on your own, or if you know anyone that has been through that process. We've got an amazing Let's Go family member here, Tracy, and she and her husband just did a cruise. They were on the Regal Princess, and her husband tested positive. She didn't test positive. And she said that Princess did a really, really good job of helping them, of managing his quarantine, and just everything to do with it. It went really, really smoothly. And so that's what I would do if I were from Canada. I would make sure that I was, that I either was tested before I disembarked, or ask right when you get on the ship. And then if you can let us know when you get back, that would be awesome, because we've got a lot of cruisers from Canada with us here, and we want to do our best to let them know what to do. Now, my last informational update is, and then we're going to go to the cruise ships. Brian, and he's an amazing Let's Go family member, he said that on cruisewatch.com, if you go there, you can enter your information and get price drop alerts from cruises. Now, we all know that you can get last minute deals on cruises. There's a lot of different websites for that, but a lot of us don't live within driving distance of a port that we can just pop over and get on short notice. And so if you are interested in those kind of price drop alerts, you can go to cruisewatch.com. So now we've got some updates on a few cruise ships, and I want to point out today is Thursday, and I think that we will probably hear a lot more from people, at least I'm really hoping we do, at the weekend when everyone changes, gets off the ship, and then we've got more people on the ship. My guess is right now we've got a lot of people just enjoying their cruise. But gratefully to some, I've got some updates. So thank you to those of you who took the time to send me a message while you're on a cruise ship. The other thing, so the Regal Princess does switch out tomorrow, and then we've got different cruises that come and go on Saturday and Sunday. Those are big days for it. And I have gotten a lot of messages from people who have cruised on all the ships, really. Well, Grand Princess, it's been a while since they've been gone, but like from the Sky, the Enchanted, the Caribbean Princess, the Regal, who have said that they have had good experiences on the ship. I do want to point out that sometimes I am hearing there are some blips, and the blips, I would say, are maybe, on some of them the food isn't quite what someone would expect. And to me that's hard because we all go with really different expectations just based on our life experiences and even on how good of a cook we are. So but I do hear some people saying that the food is magnificent. Some people say it's okay. Some people say it's not quite as good as it has been. And so there's that. And then sometimes I think that the crew is really busy. I'm hoping that on the cruises that are going right now, they don't seem to be going at near the capacity they were going at over the holidays. And so I think that should hopefully help with service. But I'll sure show you everything firsthand when we're on our cruise next week. Now on the Sky Princess, we've got our family member Paul. They were just in Aruba, and he said that they were able to get off the ship as planned and self-explore. So they were able to look at everything they wanted. They went on their own, and everything is going great on the Sky. That's the only main update I've got from the Sky Princess, and he is on that ship right now. The Enchanted Princess, Dave says, remember when I told you yesterday, I think it was in my video, about how we had received the information from the Enchanted Princess saying that in a couple of the ports, so if you haven't seen that, I'll link it below, a couple of the ports you can only do princess excursions and authorized port excursions, and I couldn't find any information on how you do those authorized port excursions. So Dave was kind enough to let us know that the authorized port excursion tour operators are right there in the port when you get off the ship, and so they are really easy to find. And so if you don't want to book a princess excursion in those ports, just get off the ship and look right there in the port area, and that is where you will find those port authorized tour guides. Okay, and so thank you so much, Dave. We really appreciate that. Now I do have several updates from the Caribbean Princess, and I don't know if people are just going out of their way to be kind and comment, since that's what the ship we are sailing on next week, but I really appreciate it. So first of all, a Let's Go family member named Susan, she said that the passengers on her sailing, she just got off, so she was on last week, were very respectful of the protocols. They all the ports they visited, so that would have been the Western Caribbean, all the ports they visited, there were always at least 3 other ships there in addition to theirs. They didn't get to go to Princess Key, which was on their itinerary because of a staffing shortage, and so that is probably a result of the Omicron variant, just too many crew members there in quarantine. And they said that on the New Year's cruise on the Caribbean Princess, there were 2,300 passengers. From January 2nd to the 9th, there were 1,100 passengers. And so right now it's supposed to be sailing at about a third full. I've seen people say it's a third full or 25% full on the Caribbean Princess right now. And so I think that is that bodes well for hopefully having plenty of room to space out, although I don't know how profitable. I don't know at what point Princess loses money doing these. It doesn't matter today, does it? But if anyone knows, we would love to hear about that. We got another update from the gal Amy that I mentioned in our Let's Go family, who tested positive while she was on the Caribbean Princess. She's the one that was doing those 3 back-to-back cruises, and she had shared again that she's gotten all the information that she needs. So let me tell you some things that we learned from her and that I learned from what she told us and what she said. She said, first of all, it is really important to be your own advocate. Ask for what you want. When she was on the ship, and since she has been in a quarantine hotel, she's like, call. You might have to be on hold for a really long time, is her experience in the hotel, but call and ask for what you need. Call and get the information that you want. Be your own advocate. The other thing she said is, well, this kind of goes with it, just stay on hold however long it takes. And then, like I said, ask for what you want. And then this next thing is just a conclusion that I drew from her experience. You know what? Take a look around and see if there's anyone else that you can help. And the reason I say that is that's the way we should be living our life anyway. Is what I think. But also, she shared that she got the information that she needed while she's in quarantine at the hotel, but that there was a couple from England in her group who are in really big trouble because they have run out of the wife's cancer medication. And so Amy said that she tried to help them. She stayed on hold with Princess to get the help from there, and then was contacting people in England to do whatever is needed there to try to be able to get this couple the help that they need. And so when you are somewhere like this, do what you need, and then if there's somebody else you can help, try to help them, because clearly I think they needed a hand, and so just keep that in mind. But she said that it's going really well, and when she's done with the quarantine time, she can just go ahead and rent a car and drive home. And so I wanted to let you all know about that. We've also, okay, so I told you, like I said, on the Caribbean Princess, they gave them the complimentary KN95s and asked them to wear them indoors. And then Rod, thank you very much, another Let's Go family member. He was so kind to write this while he was on the ship. He said yesterday, he wrote this today, and so yesterday, Wednesday, he said it rained in St. Thomas, and so their excursion they weren't able to do to Paradise Point, but that was okay, and I'm guessing that was just because of the weather. He said they went ahead and went to Megan's Bay, and by the time they got there, the weather was beautiful, and they really enjoyed that. Today, they are in St. Kitts, and they had an excursion for the rainforest that was supposed to depart at 8:30 this morning, but due to the rain, they decided not to go. And here's the thing I just love. He said by the afternoon it had cleared up and they are in the sanctuary soaking up the sunshine. And so I just love that. And so thank you very much, Rod. And thanks for the reminder to us to go ahead and just enjoy whatever you can enjoy, whatever chance you get. And so thanks for those updates, everyone. I'm anxious to get more updates to share with you, but that's where we are today. If any of you have any questions or anything that you would like to know about, please do put those in the comments below, as well as anything that you've got to share with your experiences. I'll be, also, if you appreciate this video, will you please give us a thumbs up? That really helps us, so thank you. I will be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.